All right, well, here I go. I'm clicking the button right now. And we are going live. Yes, we're going live.
Stuart, the Force is with us today, you're saying?
Yeah, sure. Yes. May the force be with you.
May the Metachlorians swim through your bloodstream successfully.
Indeed.
It sounds ridiculous, but that's so true. Like, there's no exaggeration. That's exactly what the reality is.
So would they be able to make, like, artificial midichlorians, like little nanobots, nanites in your blood that could, like, activate the same pressure points in your nervous system or whatever the hell the midichlorians do? Makes you wonder.
Well, they're a wireless Bluetooth connection to the Force, so I think... I don't think it would
That's
work.
a good way to put it.
I don't think that it's exactly the same, but maybe you could build them to, like, suck Force energy out of other people that are close. And then you kind of have charged up Force energy, but I think they're... Yeah, I don't think you can make a connection per se to the Force, but... Although
I feel like that needs to be explored. Somebody needs to do a novel.
Well, as soon as he mentioned it, they abandoned it as a concept, so it's hard to explore something that's a bit heavily abandoned. Like, soft abandoned, obviously. But see, let's never talk about it again, and let's have you two YouTubers talk about it for 2 hours on a live.
Yeah. Well, today, guys, welcome back. We are doing a discussion talking about the new casting for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. The Obi-Wan Kenobi showbie.
Or Ben
we got
Kenobi,
some casting and some
Star Wars story.
Yes. And it's some interesting casting because we got Hayden Christensen back. But we're going to talk about that and talk about the characters and how they might fit into a storyline and what this is all going to be about. It's just like the Clone Wars sequel. Maybe a lot of Clone Wars
talk
stuff
about it.
in there.
Not to toot my horn, but I was quite pleased with my thumbnail, like how I managed to rearrange it to look quite visually appealing.
It looks amazing.
A little like podium of cool. Yeah.
Quite
pleased with that.
Is Hayden like slightly taller than the girl? So he's like in silver, because silver and bronze should be a little bit offset, just a little bit.
I mean, really, he should be taller because he's in like big black heels because he's the Darth Vader. He got no legs. He's probably the tallest one.
It's so fetishy, big black heels.
Well, I mean, Iridina Varma from Game of Thrones has about kinks and such, screwing her brother, etc. Classic stuff. And speaking of classic stuff, I'm going to go share. That's classic.
That is classic. Please go share, and I'll talk to these fine people that are here already.
People.
All 29 of them. Everybody hit that like button, and let's get those likes up. Welcome, guys. We're going to be talking about some Star Wars today, which is something we don't normally do, but we really do enjoy Star Wars as well. And this casting news came along, and I thought, should we do a video on it? Nah, don't know if we have enough to talk about. Yeah. And then Samuel messaged me and go, hey, the news came out about casting for Kenobi series. So we have one of our lives for this week. And I'm like, okay. So here we are. So hopefully he does a lot of the talking because I don't know most of these people. And it'll be interesting to see exactly how this is all going to play out with them. So we're going to talk about possible storylines where there's going to be flashbacks, things like that, because with Hayden Christensen on board, who knows? But I don't know why I'm talking about this because I should be talking about super chats. If you want to get your question read, your comment answered, anything like that, by all means, put a super chat in. It comes out nice and colorful, shows us that you love us and love the channel, and we really appreciate that kind of thing. Also, you can send a PayPal if you want. The PayPal address is Trekyards@hotmail.com, so you can send a PayPal. Just let us know in the regular chat that you sent a PayPal, and we will read your comment or question via the email from that. So the other option is, of course, to join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral, and you can help us out in that way. It's a monthly way to help us out, and we really do appreciate that kind of thing. So if you're able to, please do that, or join us at Patreon/Trekyards. Same thing, monthly donation service. So also, the description of every video has links such as Eagle Moss and things like that for you guys to check out, and you can use our discount codes. We have discount codes for a few different things down there, so check those out. And if you're able to use them, by all means, go ahead and use them because it helps you out, it helps us out, and we really appreciate it. It shows us that you love us. So if you're able to, please do. I don't think he muted his mic. Or maybe he did. No, he didn't. I can hear him clicking. So yes, if you're able to, please consider doing that. We'd really appreciate it, and would love to see those. Well, the likes are already at 34. Or no, sorry, that's people. Oh my god, I'm looking at the wrong number. We have 35 people here with 27 likes. Let's get 3 more likes. Let's get to at least 30 before Samuel gets back. Hopefully, we have enough of an audience today to have enough to talk about. But if we're running out of steam, or if you have an idea or a thought, or know the actors from something, let us know in the chat below, or super chat, because we do love hearing your thoughts and ideas as well. So if you can, please do so. Look, it's a Samuel. A wild Samuel has appeared.
Yes.
Yay.
Pretty much. So yeah.
You weren't muted the whole time, by the way. I heard you clicking.
Oh, so I clicked the mute when I wasn't muted and mute when I... Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We heard you talking to yourself. So fucking hate that Stuart guy. God damn, I don't do another live with that asshole.
Look, you're too...
We heard it.
We're too used to it. So yeah, Stuart. I mean, this was certainly a nice and out of the blue, but obviously we've been waiting for something like this for a while. Certainly a few more casts than Discovery tend to give us, so a bit more to talk about in terms of bulk batch. Any sort of initial first thoughts before we look at the actual full graphic? Or about the show
Not
itself?
really. I mean,
you know?
I took a look at it. I recognized like 2... Well, besides Hayden Christensen and McGregor, of course, I recognize like 2 other people.
He was in Star Wars, Stuart. Hayden was in Star Wars, you see, so you should recognize
What?
him. Yeah.
No. Get out of town.
No, he was. And Jumper, but he's more known for Star Wars, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, I knew him from Jumper, but... Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, there's like 2 other people that I recognized from something, but I couldn't quite place them. And I was telling these guys when you were sharing, I was like, I saw this come up and I'm like, that could be a live discussion. I don't know if there'd be enough to talk about, though. And literally, about an hour later, I get a message from Samuel.
Ding!
Hey, the casting's just from Kenobi, so we have a topic for a live this week. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'm sure we can come up with something to talk about with your guys' help as well, which led into the whole super chat discussion. So anyway, we're here. So hopefully you do a lot of the talking, because I really don't know how much I'll be doing in this one.
But you
I
said
don't
that,
know a lot of these people.
You said that every time, every casting.
I do say that every time, but I want to make that caveat at the beginning, just in case during the live I'm just very quiet, like.
Yeah, no, you always have something to say. You're too. Yeah.
You saying I got a big mouth? Is that what you're saying?
Average sized. Sylvia might say small. I don't know. We haven't seen the mouth. I don't know.
I see where you were planning on going with that. That just didn't work out so good.
Yeah, there wasn't a connective tissue. Didn't quite work.
No.
So my reaction was obviously Hayden Christensen was the big thing that made this a discussion point, because that is a discussion point. And it could just be a sort of a fluff cameo-ness. But the way they're showing it, I think, is similar to a real part. But the Mandalorian was a smash success, but for very specific reasons. It was a fresh start, kind of. Yes, it was used in the past, but in a fresh start sort of way. This is reviving one of the fan favorite elements of the prequels, which are, well, I think now they're more appreciated than the sequels potentially. I'd like to see a chart if, because the sequels feel like the prequels more, or if the sequels still beat the prequels in general. That'd be an interesting graph.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I've said the sequels don't feel like George Lucas. As much as the prequels were kind of like, and too much George Lucas, like too much creative control. He didn't have anybody kind of checks and balances for his decision making. It felt very George Lucas Star Wars vibe. The cut scenes, the way things were filmed, there's a lot of George Lucas there. It kind of goes away for the sequels. So I really missed that. Yeah. I really missed that. As much as I didn't like a lot of the prequel stuff, I really missed the feeling that it's George Lucas doing the work behind the scenes. So, yeah. I
mean, he was definitely more creative than the sequels. There's very little creativity in all those 3 films put together. At least in the... And obviously, even though they're a prequel trilogy, there was so many interesting ideas. He was a very visual filmmaker. There's a reason why most of the characters in the sequels, who the hell cares? And yeah, there's lots of prequel characters, and also they expanded them in the comics and games and expanded the universe. Fine, sure, but Grievous is a very visually interesting character. Maul, Sidious, etc., etc. You look at the who is Snoke? He's a dude in a robe that was a bit gross. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I from walking out of Last Jedi, I was like, oh yeah, the prequels look better and better now, don't they, guys? I'm pretty sure I said that at the time. So this is interesting because now I think they definitely want to pull back the reins from the two guys and Kathleen pushing in a certain direction. And so this is a good way of, in a smaller scale, bringing the prequel legacy into a higher quality medium. Because they shouldn't have abandoned all the prequel elements. Well, obviously they had the animated, which ended up being very popular. But it was remarkable when the sequels just ignored everything from the prequels. It's like this, like none of the aliens are in there. Why aren't you including the bulbous species? Why are you including all these new aliens? Like, encourage the inclusion of them just in a more creative way, or more, you know what I mean? They just abandon them, even though they are big and broad.
Yeah. Well, the thing that bothers me, well, it doesn't bother me, but concerns me about this is, I was thinking about this last night, the fact that it's much like the unexplored stuff, like with Enterprise, like the unexplored eras have been kind of filled in with the expanded universe and role-playing stuff and all this other stuff, and now they're coming along and doing this is the official canon version, which is probably going to piss a lot of people off, change a lot of things. It needs to kind of fit in with, because the lead up to him being on Tatooine and meeting up with Luke, I'm sure there's been novels written about that and books and such about the adventures of Ben Kenobi after the Clone Wars. And I'm just concerned that something like this coming along is going to do the same thing that happened with Star. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but here's our canon, here's our visual canon, and everybody's head canon is going to go explode. But I mean, that's kind of already happened with the expanded universe being
that's a shotgun that's already been fired a decade ago at this point. There is no more brain left to be pissed off at, brain matter. I mean, Star Trek had a longer legacy of years that they didn't delve into and that they didn't talk about it. But I think they've learned from Star Trek that they will have to make it fit like a bow, especially as this film leads into the one everyone, like the three everyone likes the most. Whereas TOS, you can argue lots of people don't like or don't appreciate as much, and so fuck TOS, do their own thing. Whereas they don't remaster, they don't remake, everything looks like New Hope because they respect fucking canon. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, they'll make Ewan look even more like all that jazz. And so I think they've always shown to be more canon sensitive than Star Trek has been since Enterprise, and just like the end of Enterprise in a way. So,
well, I hope so, and I know we've kind of visited some stuff in I don't know if it was Resistance or whatever, but with the maybe not Resistance, there was the Ben Kenobi versus Darth Maul thing, with like the death of Darth Maul, which was pre-Star Wars.
Rebels,
but yeah. So that it's got a tie in with that as well, and still feel, I don't know. I'm concerned, but
well, it's a weird thing because we've all wondered, like, why isn't he doing Jack while he's there for 18 years?
Yeah.
But also, you can just take 1 year out and say he had lots of adventures in 1 year. It's actually a very flexible time, and it would certainly help to make it make more sense. And as with all these things, I'm often someone who says, and certainly at the time, a few years ago, was saying, why is everything set between episodes 3 and 4? For God's sake, we don't care anymore. It's like everything's there. Well, because that's the time you can do anything, sort of. You get to have the old designs and any new designs you want to have. You can have a TIE fighter and a Arc 170 if you want to. You can have a droid dicker and a stormtrooper. If you have it after, you can't. If you have it before, you can't. So they can have all the art designs. They can have Darth Vader fight a droid army that's left over on Geonosis, which will look really cool and appeal to certain fans, and see him surrounded by stormtroopers, or see Ewan McGregor shoot stormtroopers. So you can have both cakes and eat them, and only in this version. So I see why. And it works better with the real actors. It works better than real actors than animated.
Yeah, And the interesting thing about that is, of what you said, is having it between the two, you can have both art styles or both visual styles. And yet Star Trek, we've got the Lost Era, which can have movie era ships leading up to TNG ships, and that's an area that's never explored. It's like Star Wars focuses all their attention in that area, and Star Trek's going STO this way, and well, now Discovery that way, and Discovery and Enterprise that way. Like they're missing out on that prime real estate that you just talked about, which is interesting.
And that's, like Ewan McGregor has such a tie to both the Alec Guinness version of Obi-Wan, who's barely in those films really. So he really is only a character earlier. And I'm sure whoever's writing the show is going to pay attention to Clone Wars, because that's fundamentally loved by the fans, and that's where he grew. 95% of his growth is that show, etc. But you can have him talk to the clone troopers and have all those relationships still, and we never saw Rex or whoever that much. And this may be after Rebels. I don't know exactly where it's set, but if it's after Rebels, then you can even have even further, and him deal with Ahsoka and etc. So he you could bring in whatever her name is from Mandalorian, who just came in and played the lady Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson,
play a 20-year younger version of herself to deal with him, and then which I think if you got Hayden as Darth Vader and her as Ahsoka, it's like, why wouldn't you put them together at one point? I mean, obviously it's hard to fit that more into canon because they're adding more events, but
Well, the Hayden Christensen thing interests me. Like, is he going to be post-burn Darth Vader, like becoming Darth Vader? Are we going to see like a side? Because they can't really interact with each other, But are we going to see flashbacks, like I said earlier, to Clone Wars type stuff every once in a while? Because you'd think there would be some flashbacks, based on whatever Ben is doing at the time, a memory or something.
I hadn't thought of flashbacks. That's an interesting concept. I mean, obviously they do look 15 years older, and so having Hayden play a younger than even those films, probably pushing it a little bit, and you're not going to de-age him just for 10 years. But I get what you mean. I mean, so does Ewan. But is that really going to stop them? Like, why not? But I've read part of the brief, and he's playing Darth Vader. He's not playing Anakin Skywalker. He's playing Darth Vader. Boom.
Okay.
That's
interesting. That's
very interesting. I mean, it's unhelpful because Darth Vader doesn't sound like Hayden Christensen. He sounds like James Earl Jones. So, and I always found it somewhat funny, conceptually, that Hayden played Darth Vader in the final scene of, because once he's in the suit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Like,
why is he in the suit? It really doesn't have to be in the suit. It doesn't add too much.
I think there'll be lots of scenes of, obviously, without the suit on, but he's going to be heavily prosthetic up, and that's going to be a shitty role to be doing constantly.
You say that, and you are correct, although obviously they would then, I'm sure his contract would, I don't want to be in 4 hours of makeup every morning, and how many scenes can you do?
Yeah.
I'm sure, this isn't going to take place like 2 months after. They're going to want to be a flip. So let's say it takes place 5 years after. Let's be a bit of conservative. 5 years. I would be happy to say that by that point, he looks more like he did in Return of the Jedi, where his skin is healed, just burnt, like just no hair. Instead of a more grey Hayden without hair. Because, I mean, he's being Sith healed for a decade. He can't grow back his limbs, but he can grow back his skin. And so now he's just like a pale version of himself, pale literally and figuratively. Would that be acceptable? Because obviously he then grows older into New Hope guy.
It would be more acceptable probably, but the thing is, we've already had multiple comics, books, even video games about Darth Vader, and like in these years, the things that have happened to him. Yeah, his armor gets messed up a few times. I just remember comic book visuals. I'm not really a big reader of Star Wars stuff, unfortunately. Like, I do have a few of the novels, but so I know that there's a lot that happens to him, and again, it's all going to have to mesh together with this narrative that they're telling. Hopefully,
I mean, depends if that stuff's post the Legends split. I'm sure most of that stuff is pre, just because there's more stuff pre. So already all that stuff's already out the window. No hesitation. But the fact is, if you have James Earl Jones signed back on and Hayden, are they going to allow a comic that some lady wrote on the offside that showed his face supersede? I've got Hayden and James. That's not fair to them or the comic person. So I think whatever happens, this should supersede, because this is they got the gang back together, and I'm sure James Earl will be in it.
I hope so.
You'd have to be. I mean, although no, to be fair, I don't mind a lot of the voice replacement actors have been Darth Vader in the other ones. They tend to do a good job. And James Earl does sound a lot older. Like when he's done, like he played the character in one of the most recent things, and he sounded distinctly old and tired because he's much older. So you do lose, especially if he's trying to play him at his youngest Vader. Like
like
he doesn't sound as good.
Well, maybe it's the whole adventure of finding a good voice modulator. So it'll be Hayden's voice for a while. Then he'll sound like a squirrel. Sound like a squirrel for an episode or two.
You know
then they'll
what?
tone it way down so he sounds like Barry White. Yeah.
No, that's actually a really interesting point because I never put together. Like in universe, he doesn't sound like Anakin, and Anakin can still speak because he's not like he can still speak in the other thing. So yeah, wouldn't that be kind of fun if he actually does speak with Anakin's voice for a couple of years? Because why would he default? I guess he does. Well, I know he does. That'd be kind of funny if they'd done that. Like, oh, I do speak like, and then now I'm picking a more menacing voice modulator because it's all a choice, isn't it? That's funny.
Well, Dementia throws in $2. Thank you. Seeing the cast list, this is where the fun begins. This is where the fun begins, Savik.
And,
oh, wait a minute, wrong franchise.
And Hezraz says it takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, which is an even better way of doing. Because that means they can also have Luke, Leia, 10 at 10, which is a perfectly fine age to have young kids that aren't affected enough, and you can forget stuff at 10. I don't remember everything happened to me at 10. You know?
That's a very good point.
I'm sure he can save Luke from a Bantha or Womp Rat or something, and just like because I mean he knew Ben Kenobi from a long time, so that'd be fine if him interact with Luke. Like, wouldn't you want to see a young Luke? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, and I think they'd probably end up defaulting to doing that at least once. Yes,
because he's so different age-wise, and he has no force. He's just a guy, as in just a kid. I think that actually is fine. 10 years. So yeah, how much has he changed? How much has he? Because you are kind of skipping the Anakin to Darth Vader full transformation. Because 10 years in, he is consumed by that hate. He's a full-on dog. Because it's only 8 years. It's not that long. And Rebels was. It's only after. Yeah, guys, tell us when was Rebels. I could Google it, but tell us when. I think Rebels was a few years after.
I think Rebels ends like a year or so before the.
Oh well, yeah. I just meant the start of Rebels, like that, because it mostly I've only seen because you're right, it does lead right into, but I mean like the start of Rebels where you learn where everyone is.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if hopefully they'll get the Bail Organa back. I know he's aging in real life, but if you put 10 years after Revenge of the Sith and it's been 15 years, he was back in Rogue One, haven't been able to carry over. Because then you can bring Leia, he types. Because I'm sure this is the like main cast. Like they're not revealing guest stars, are they? So I'm sure they'll be able to have in, guest star Bail Organa and Mon Mothma actress from the other versions of the films because they like using their own continuity. Oh look, here's Django. Well, he's dead. Here's Boba Fett. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, he'd be well. Yeah, he'd be 18. He'd be over 18. Yeah, you can have Boba Fett. Be fine. You've got the armor now. I mean, trying to think what can you reuse from the other shows. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back the assassin lady who's now got her show in the Bad Batch or Bad Group. I'm sure they'll bring her in at some point, or could do.
I saw her in the trailer for the Bad Batch, which May 4th. I'm looking forward to that. Damn.
I mean, probably talk about that as well near the end of this because it's a cast list. And obviously, we like to talk about stuff on lives because you may as well.
Got a few more super chats.
Yes.
Kyle Wong, £5.
Thank you.
Hi guys, do you think we'll be doing damage control with Obi-Wan to fix the fractured fan base? Yes, they will because they've done that with Mandalorian a lot, and I think they absolutely will.
I mean, yeah, but that's hard because the people that fractured it are still doing Star Wars, which doesn't help. So depends if the show's made in good faith like Mandalorian was. If it's not, okay,
Yeah, well, here's hoping anyway that they'll at least attempt to do that. So
because remember we know that Ewan announced this like 2.5 years ago, and then he said all the scripts are rewritten because they didn't like the direction. So he was signed on to an idea, just like Patrick Stewart was signed on to an idea, and they changed stuff. He didn't even know he was dying until on set, or around on set, and then obviously you're contractually obligated to do the scene, etc. So who knows how many things were changed between the initial one that got him. They got him into a contract versus this current version. You know, those things do happen.
Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. Here's Fleetpaw. Let's get to 50 likes. Hashtag make Fleetpaw pay. We're at 51 likes.
Yes.
Yay. There's 66 people here, so hit that like button if you haven't, guys. Let's get those likes up. I'm sure we can do that.
And Ninja says Ezra is the same age as Luke. Didn't know he was the same age as Luke. That's weird.
Ezra Bridger's the same age as Luke?
Yeah, apparently. So very much a parallel story then. Huh.
That kind of makes sense, actually. When you think about it, but that's interesting.
There isn't that much time to play with in that era because there's only 18 years. So you've got to have, if you want to be a teenager at the same time, like around this time, you're going to be around the same age if you want to have the similar sort of.
So I guess I got a month to watch all the Clone Wars and Rebels before the Bad Batch thing starts. Damn.
Well, you said you were enjoying it, so.
I was, and then I kind of trailed off. I haven't watched any lately, so I got to go back and get in the groove again. Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. General Kenobi, come meet your demise.
Oh dear.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh dear. Yeah, although they can't, like someone said, they can't exactly make it all exclusively like, yes, we need to know about the previous shows to be able to understand it. So I don't know if I need to watch the Bad Batch. But yeah, certainly, like you said, was clone focused. So if you don't know who clones are, it's pretty pointless.
Yeah. Ashen that says no, he's not the same age as Luke. He's 4 years older. So
that makes more sense.
Okay.
That makes more sense. Yeah. So when he's,
thank you, Ashen, for correcting.
When he's out and fighting, Luke's still like 14. So that makes more sense. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Perhaps Vader and Obi-Wan communicate through the Force and see each other as Hayden and Ewan.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess. Like the good part of Anakin.
Well, does he want to show himself? Well, I mean, if you were fighting, if you were hunting down your ex-master, and you want to get any advantage with him, if you show yourself to him in black armor, the Death Stare, or you friendly him, he might hesitate. So you absolutely show yourself as the good guy to get his moment. You may have red eyes for Sith, but I mean, I've still loved one of the few concepts JJ had, which was showing Hayden in Force Awakens as a Force ghost. There's two sides of the Force ghost. There's the good and the bad, because he was such a broken character by the end. So there is the light side, Hayden. Although obviously we know he looks like Hayden as a Force ghost as well in the future.
Well, it's a good segue. The Force Ghost thing is to, Force Ghosts are blue. So let's make that like button blue, guys. Turn that like button into a Force Ghost.
Oh my god. Wow.
Hey, yeah, it was good. Come on now.
It was something.
Yeah, make the like button a Force Ghost, guys. Hit it. 70 people here with 58. We can easily get 75 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Really appreciate it. And if you guys can super chat, please do. You probably know a lot more about, well, Ashen was proving that, was telling us the age of Ezra. If you say something wrong, or you want to get your 2 cents in, get your thoughts out there, super chat's a great way to do it.
If you guys don't, we may not cover more on Obi-Wan. I mean, you guys vote with your likes and super chats, so but we want to other stuff, and those that are interested like to engage with. But here is the 12, which is a pretty chunky. Is that Sung Kang, the guy from Fast and Furious?
See that? Yes, he is. And that's one of the guys I recognize.
So I was like, that hair plus that face combined feels like the guy from Fast and Furious.
Him and the guy right above him, the Kumal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gianni.
Boy,
I recognize him, but I don't know what from. He's one of those faces that's probably been in a few things.
He's a comedian actor that you hire for a very specific sort of character.
Yeah.
So yeah,
also Rupert Friend looks familiar too, but not for. It looks like somebody else.
Looks like Poirot. It looks like a detective from the 1930s.
Poirot. Yeah.
And I recognize Indira from Game of Thrones. I feel like I should recognize Bonnie Picey, but I think it's because she looks like an older Saturday Night Live actress that was very famous. Similar face, just 20 years younger. But I don't recognize Moses or Joel or Benny or Simone.
O'Shea looks familiar too, honestly. And like I have not looked up any of these names yet.
We're going to today.
Yes, I know. Which will make the interesting discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys tell us. Do you think he is any of them? Do you think are they unknowns, and therefore this is brilliant? They're bringing in unknowns, or are they like we know a couple of them, but are they established people who are like really famous in this or this or this? So let us know, because obviously what if they've been in suits for 10 years or whatever.
The Joel Edgerton guy, I'm just going out on a limb here saying he might be Uncle Owen.
Oh yeah, maybe the same actor, just with a beard.
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
It's been a while since he was in one of the things, so he's going to be look different since 2006.
And I'm sure there'll be conversations between Owen and Beru and Obi-Wan Kenobi, because later, as in Star Wars, that crazy old man, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure there was a little bit of falling out between them, a disagreement.
Because they should be hiring the original actors back from the prequels. Yes, that is Owen Lars. Just looks very different. There we go. Well done. So Owen Lars.
That one.
Owen Lars confirmed. Good.
Nice.
Should be. And what's funny is obviously
who's Beru? Who plays Beru then?
So it's not Bonnie.
Bonnie?
She looks way too young to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Unless like we're younging up our Beru so she can be more active. I mean, they're obviously broken ages in the other films. I mean, I saw a meme today saying, Owen went from this age to this age in 12 years. It's like, holy shit, 18. It's like, wow.
Living on Tatooine in that dry climate, that's bad for the skin, man.
No, that is the obvious counter, but it's like, damn, don't live on Tatooine then, Jesus. Oh no, she just looks different, and maybe that's an older or younger picture. Yeah, Beru in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, so there we go. Good for them. They're like, oh yeah, we get brought back after 16 years.
That's good.
I had 3 kids and a big life, and I'm back as this random lady I played for like 12 seconds on screen. Both of them. Like.
So the odds are there's going to be a 10, 12-year-old Luke running around. So I'm surprised there's no kid actor shown here, but that might give it away.
Well, that's Kamal Nanjiani. That's him. He's young Luke. Oh dear.
Well,
that's good though. I mean, It makes sense. This is not a leap. Like, it's the things where if we were designing it, it'd say, well, of course. It's like they should have a Centaur Organa and Mon Mothma. Like, obviously, they both make sense. Like, they should have the clone dude back who plays Boba Fett. Although he also looks a lot older, to be like a clone trooper that knows them or whatever. So Moses Ingram, and obviously, I'm assuming they didn't actually order them, but given the fact that you've got the main 2 big celebrities, Moses, and then the 2 from the other films, you would assume there may be a semi-order, and maybe some contractual thing of being tied up. So Moses may be like the other important person. Maybe like Obi-Wan Kenobi's like next thing, because you gotta think, unfortunately, that this is a white straight male led show, and a lot of people don't want to see that. We don't care, but they can't make him they can't change Obi-Wan Kenobi, like. So it makes sense to partner him with a non-white male, because then at least it appeals to those people that want something else.
Yeah,
that's why I'm seeing on the top list. But let's see. No, I don't care either way. Why would you? But that's not who they were trying to appeal to. Oh, she's an unknown. She was in 4 episodes of Queen's Gambit, and absolute unknown. Cool. Maybe theatre, but IMDb. That's cool.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a hint that she'll play with lightsabers. She's an American, but that's not surprising. Interesting. That's good though.
With lightsabers, huh?
But there's some news page obviously wanting to tease, as in they're guessing. Well, her Instagram has 3 posts, and I'm sure her followers jumped up when this got announced. But that's good though. Hire unknowns that can then build their vibe with this, which is great. Oh, it could be an alien as well.
Also showing. It's also showing that Obi-Wan Kenobi has 6 episodes at least. Show all 6 episodes. So it's just like a mini series type of deal instead of 10, 12 episodes.
Well, I mean, that, the cost of getting these 2 is going to be more than getting Pedro Pascal. Yeah. So of course, I mean, if he was the biggest star, and so yeah, I'm sure 6. You would assume 45 minutes, but I could see it being half an hour and really kind of screw us over a little bit.
Oh, I hope not.
Not in a too bad a way. Just he's expensive, but you would think if you're making it, and if it's only, let's say, 6 of 30, that's just 2 movies, and they won't be paced properly because a movie has a certain pace that feels bigger, whereas episodes tend to be slow, different. So hopefully they're 45 or 50 or 55. I mean, give us that. Make it worth our while. And this will certainly be more viewed than Mandalorian or Book of Fett. What was it called?
Yes, the Book of Fett.
Assuming the trailer's good. Let's just say that. Assuming the trailer's good. But the fan base Ewan has is pretty huge, considering he's not actually in very much. I watched an interview in one of the UK talk shows, and he basically just doesn't... he's been in very few things. He's only famous because of Star Wars and Trainspotting, which are very different things. But he picks his roles. 100% picks what he wants to do. So if he doesn't like it, he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
That's why he's done mostly indie small stuff, because he just likes the roles. That's why you rarely see him in big things. He doesn't want to do them. I mean, sure, he's not offered that much. Like, every actor isn't offered everything. But he's not into that sort of stuff. He just happened to have Star Wars.
And Moulin Rouge. Let's not forget Moulin Rouge.
Sure, yeah. And it's funny. I was told it was one of the best films ever, and then it's like the first 6 minutes is, and the rest of it lets it down, because don't tell me it's the best thing ever until the intro is brilliant.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Will Jar Jar be back? Misa hopes not. No, probably not.
Well, I mean, he was vaguely close to Obi-Wan. Yeah, but you say that, but the stuff that Mandalorian did and made it cool again,
Yeah.
If there's a reason,
True.
It's always if there's a reason. If Obi-Wan has to go to Naboo to get a part of Senator Amidala's private stuff that she wasn't buried with, maybe he thinks I can get through to Anakin with this thing from Padme's past, and he says, "Oh, I need to stop him with the Gungans to get this," and then we see, Jar Jar, who's been forced to go there because Anakin wants to kill him because fuck Jar Jar. He's like, I kill you. And so he's hiding with the Gungans. It's like, yeah, bring him back. Awesome, It's all how you play the character. Like, the design of Jar Jar's great. It's just he never does anything very interesting. But he was fine as the senator guy.
Yeah.
Which was his first appearance. He was a bit crap. I mean, sure.
I didn't mind him. Again, he's a guilty pleasure character. I didn't find him annoying. I thought he was kind of funny. I don't hate him as much as everybody else does. So
everyone knows he's not a good. No one thinks he's a good character. Good, but that's not the point of him. It's like the Rancor. It's not a good villain because you kill it in 44 seconds, but it knows what it's trying to be, and that's okay. Yeah. No, I think bring back in hiding Jar Jar. Senator Man, private bitch of hey, will the Palpatine be back? He came back for the shitty sequel, and with the old age makeup, he can play him for as long as he wants because he looks older than, or looks like you've F's up his face. Doesn't matter how old you get, he's in full prosthetics. Yes, I am 94 in real life, and I've looked no better. I can look better as Palpatine than I do as the actor. Wouldn't that be a great day?
Oh yes.
That's fucked up. That's great. Sorry.
Kyle Wong, £5. I would like to see Obi-Wan visit Yoda on Dagobah.
Oh, that's a hell of a bottle of worms, though. Can of worms.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for that kind of thing, but like I said at the beginning, the concern is I want to actually do it right and don't mess with anything that's already been established, right? So,
I mean, Obi-Wan is
now. Let us, without further ado,
Obi-Wan is risky enough because but you can there's so little story with that, and you can tell he's choosing to be in hiding, but also he's an honourable guy. Yoda's that coward that left. And because at that point, they had to make him leave. There's no reason for him to leave in the prequels, but he had to leave. Whereas Obi-Wan actually had a moment, he had a reason. So if they go back to Yoda, then you're thinking, well, why is he fighting every day? You know, that's a really hard one. I wouldn't want to touch the Yoda character beyond maybe talking to him via the Force. That I think is like he has to feel he's stuck there for that to be worth it. Otherwise, he should be doing stuff, Mr. Coward, and not fighting the Emperor.
So when you talk to somebody via the Force, you get the dun 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 dun.
Startled me, you did. On the shitter I am. Please, please warn Obi. Let me go, number 2.
Oh my goodness. Well, see, the thing is, too, if this is really popular and does really well and they want to add more to it, like another season, you're going to get that eventually with the spillover of, okay, now he's got to go visit this character. Now he's got to go pull in somebody else.
Jar Jar Binks!
Kind of what, yeah, like things like that are eventually going to happen if it's very popular and does very well. Like, they're going to want to do that. That's just the way that things work, so.
Well, if you know, the one example we have is Mandalorian. Season 1, quite conservative. Season 2, floodgates.
Yep.
I mean, they couldn't wait to shove the shit in our face. You know, spoiler alert. We got Luke at the end.
They came back, and he came back, and she, yeah.
I mean, you cannot get bigger than Luke in any context for Star Wars. So, floodgate a la opened. So certainly, yeah.
He can get bigger than Luke.
We came back too.
He was more exciting to me than.
But he didn't like to fight. He didn't kill the Death Troopers. You know, he just sat back and watched.
But you got to admit the CGI and de-aging on R2 was so much better than Mark Hamill's.
Well, I saw some of the wrinkles, like motion.
Some of the rust.
Yeah.
Come on now.
This is why I think aliens should be in it more than they are, because they don't age. Seems odd to me that you wouldn't get. Although I didn't realize this, but they did actually, and this is great. With the Bib Fortuna in that last post-credit scene of Mandalorian is the guy who played Bib Fortuna in Phantom Menace. For one scene that he's actually like one of the VFX team. They're like, come back anyway, and we're gonna fatten you the hell up. And it's like, oh shit, because they actually respect canon steer. They even bring back actors that aren't actors to play roles. Because they give a shit about canon. And, you know, the lady that plays Mon Mothma is in a deleted scene in a previous movie, but I like her so much they bring her back and they care about their own content even though it isn't in the film. They bring her back every time. It's dumb. I hate it. Star Trek, come on.
Kyle Wong, £5. Will we see a ghost Qui-Gon Jinn?
That's... yes?
It's a very distinct possibility because he was like he was the first one to master the Force Ghost thing, but then you got to pay Liam Neeson, which isn't cheap, I'm sure.
That needs to be in there somewhere. Because I know he did come back for Clone Wars or Rebels I think, and was, you know, he talked to Yoda. Obviously Yoda's voiced by the same guy as the movies, I believe, or but no, that would have to be there. I mean, if you're bringing back Hayden, I mean, to bring back all three kind of gives that prequel vibe, but why wouldn't he commune with Qui-Gon and the Force? And think of the beautiful retcons he could do by having them both talk again. Real useful. And because you know, he was over made up in that film, like, you wouldn't notice the wrinkles so much because he's, like, fully bearded. Although Sean says Falcon and Winter Soldier are only 6 episodes as well, which I'm shocked about because I was like, oh, yay, 10 episodes. Only 6? Oy.
There's not going to be 6 of that? Oh my god.
I know WandaVision was cheaper because they, like, you know, had a lot less stuff going on until the end, but only 6? Fuck no. I guess they're longer as well. I mean, WandaVision was like 30 and then they're 45, so is like 8 episodes of the other format. But what's the point of making 6? What's the point?
Snoopy McQueen, $5. Live long and prosper to my favorite Jedi, Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with him.
Thank you. It's weird.
Yeah, so I looked up Rupert Friend, and he played Agent 47 in Hitman in 2015, which is what I recognize him for. But he's bald there, so.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really recognize anything else that he's been in here. Pride and Prejudice, which...
What, the crappy new one?
Yeah, I've watched... No, the old one.
Okay, good.
Well, not old, but 2005?
That's the crappy new one, yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
I refuse to watch. I'm a huge fan of the TV shows, like 6.5 hours. I watched the first 6 minutes of the movie and hated it because they condensed like 2 hours into 6 minutes, and it was like, well, what's the point? How is this a good thing?
I didn't mind that movie, actually.
Did you see the old miniseries, though?
No, I didn't.
Then you know what I mean? Of course, because you haven't seen the full version. You know, it's like watching all of Harry Potter if all the 7 movies was in like 1 hour. It's like, it can't be as good, and you can't, like, you know what I mean? So I kind of like refuse to watch it for that reason. There's just so much good stuff in the other one.
Melissa Jericho says the guy in the bottom left was in Godzilla, O'Shea. That's why I recognize O'Shea Jackson. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, let me look. So Rupert Friend. So he's in Homeland, which I've never seen, although a lot of that is in. Yeah, nothing I can speak to. I haven't even remotely heard any of this stuff. Oh, I heard Last Legion. Nope, I haven't heard of that. Oh, he's Mr. Wickham in Punbridge. So good. He got a good role in the film. Well, a bad role. I mean, a good bad role.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Okay, cool. Other than that, yeah, I don't recognize anything else he's in either.
Which can just be on us, obviously. Like, if you're a big fan of Homeland, I think this guy means a lot to you, etc.
Exactly, yes. I don't get out much.
But also, we are quite sci-fi literate, so these obviously aren't sci-fi alumni. Otherwise, we'd probably recognize them. You know, like if you asked anyone from Battlestar Galactica or what.
I just realized the one girl's name is Simone Kessel. Is that like the Kessel Run?
Yes.
Ooh.
I think it does. I think
you can do her in 12 parsecs. What?
O'Shea Jackson. Let's see what he was in. Very little. Okay. Although a lot of stuff is self. So he's an interviewer, maybe. What? Oh no, he just puts all the stuff. Okay, just puts all the shows he was in. Like, he was. Oh, he's a presenter of the Teen Choice Awards. He was on CBS This Morning once for an interview, and he's put them all in his IMDb to give himself credits. Okay, I don't think that really counts. Okay, Simone Kessel.
Yeah, she was in Terra Nova.
Okay, I've definitely seen that. Who was she in that?
That's a great show, yeah.
Should not have been cancelled.
Should not have been. Nope. I totally agree with you.
And she was in every episode. As Washington. That's...
Hercules, the Legendary Journey, Xena, Warrior Princess. Wow.
So I should recognize her, but I haven't seen the show since it came out, and that was a long time ago, so I don't remember any of this. I don't. Oh, I remember the Terra Nova with their guns were literally just repainted Nerf guns. Literally.
Yeah. It was such a good show, though. Damn.
Yeah, they don't have money they put into that set, you know?
Kyle Wong, £5. Are you guys binge watching Stargate on Netflix? No. I just finished. I've seen all of SG1 now, including
the movies.
Continuum as well.
Yeah. The SG1 franchise.
Yes.
Which is good. You finally got there. It just took being married to Sylvia and then all of the Trekyards time. How many episodes we've done on it? And then talking to the bloody Joe got you. Seeing one episode and talking to Joe, there you go. Even though you married me and Sylvia in our own unique context, and we both told you to watch it, and that wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
But now I can say, I understood that reference.
And you're a big Stargate fan now.
I am, actually. It's really good.
I don't know about you, but I am happy to say that in overall quality, Stargate SG-1 is a better show than TNG.
Guess you keep saying that.
Yeah, because the characters are better, more defined, and individually, there's very few bad episodes of SG-1. There are plenty of bad to medium episodes of TNG. There's very few actual bad. There's less than 5 bad episodes of Stargate, and for the most part, they're like 8+. It's remarkably the bar is, whereas TNG actually has some like. There's even season 1 is not bad. It's just not great. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah. And Michael Mooney says, "I hope they recognize Sung Kang." Well, yeah, from Fast and Furious.
Which I haven't seen the last.
What else?
The last one of. I haven't seen the newest one.
I haven't seen.
I think
most
most
of them either. There's a few I haven't seen. Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Hey.
Well, hello there. He says.
Hello there.
Hello there.
He was in Code 8. He was in Magnum PI, Hawaii Five-0, Family Guy as some random guy. I mean, you know, he's known for Fast and Furious. I mean, that's... And it... Yeah. I mean, it's good. Oh, Benny Saladi as well. Last person. Benny.
Yeah. She's good right now. Nothing really. Lots of shorts he's been in. Wonder if he ever wears like pants though, like or trousers as you call them.
And this is why
Instead
you
of
guys
shorts all the time.
tune in. Wow, yeah. So yeah, literally. I mean, I know with Star Wars they do very much like an online casting call process, and they can look at thousands of entries. Like Daisy Ridley was just the one they picked. You know, they went for unknowns, they got unknowns, they just picked the person they feel works best. You know, which makes sense, and you know, there is certainly something to be said where if we look at Pedro Pascal, which is ironic actually, because Pedro Pascal and Indira were the lovers in Game of Thrones, now they're both in the Star Wars franchise, only like 2 years apart, and could very easily meet Joe Darin or Ben Jarin, whatever his name is, and her, assuming she's alive and a character that's worth meeting. That's kind of funny. But you can't look at Pedro and not see the Game of Thrones guy. Same with her in that role, and she's I've seen her else as well. So it is that's why you do pick unknowns, because it's like you are then creating that visual legacy in your thing.
Maybe O'Shea Jackson is the owner of Tashi's power station.
Oh my god, the untold story of why it needs power converters.
See, that's the thing. How much of this is going to take place on Tatooine and how much is not? Because I know he's been on Tatooine for a few years, but he's probably going to go off-world and do a few things. Like, there's going to be stuff going on, I'm sure. He still needs to lay low because he is still essentially being hunted by the Empire. But want to change my name to Old Ben. They'll never find me then.
Yeah. Like, it'd be funny if it was Obi-Wan Sarman, but just changing his surnames. Unless, as we've joked about, Kenobi is like just like Smith, you know.
Maybe. Yeah, we don't even have character names for them in the show, unfortunately.
They never give that stuff until it's like on the show. But it's, you know, it was worth about just for Ewan and Hayden, because that opens up, and they haven't clarified, but they haven't felt the need to clarify if any of the guest roles or regulars. I get the sense these are all regulars. Like, this is our cast, and you'll get special guests around that. So cast meaning they might be in, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 of the, as there's like real parts. Like, we might have, you know, we might cut back to Owen and Beru dealing with Luke, dealing with something else, and that would be one of the sub stories because they want to. So I'm sure they're thinking multiple seasons. You know, I'm sure they are. And as an actor, you always want to be employed. And so if Ewan said, if someone says to Ewan, you know, who obviously had to agree to this, just like Patrick, you know, they come back after so many years. If they say, we've got 4 seasons of ideas, would you like to get paid for 4 years to play a character you know how to play quite easily? Yeah. You know, then it's hard to say no when it's that good a deal. So I'm imagining a lot of this stuff will be set up for later seasons just in case. And so having these like Luke little centric stories, young Luke and whatever, could be very beneficial. Hence why having the you know. Or do you want to know why Owen hates Ben, Obi-Wan? Maybe he actually helped Obi-Wan for years, like being a gun, being a support person, and then he didn't betray him, but he got, he put the family in jeopardy, and then he's like, get out of my life. And so kind of forcing a connection for a couple of years, allow him to be in the show, and then it explains why the disconnect later.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because if he's really, that's the thing with Star Wars. I never got the feeling that Uncle Owen was actually that nice of a guy that really cared about Luke. He was just kind of forced to raise the kid, and kind of was a little bit resentful of the fact. That could come into play here, or it could be that literally Luke almost got found out by the Empire as a result of something that Ben and him were doing together, and so yes, push him further away to keep Luke safe. I don't know.
Well, can I be dark for a second?
Sure.
Dark side of the Force. Does it not seem odd that the Larses have no children of their own in New Hope? Adopting's fine, but why no children of their own?
They just can't have kids.
That which would be fine and dark, but what if they do have a child and they die because of something that, some reason that Obi-Wan, because it's exactly 10, if it's 10 years or 8 years until that, you can see why they'd be sensitive if we don't talk about them. It's been 8 years. You don't need to talk about your dead half-sister 8 years later. And so, because you can imagine, if they're experiencing, a child being born and a child, having a child, even if it's adopted, would make you want to have one of your own, probably, because but this will be us rather than my half whatever's. And so if you want to get really dark with it, I mean, that'd be kind of interesting. And why would Luke mention his half sister that died 8 years ago? I mean, I don't know, or half brother, or I don't know. Or
he might have been too young to remember. Like, he could have maybe been like 3 or 4. They had another kid, died in infancy because of something related to Kenobi. But yeah, that would cause a lot of resentment for sure. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be because of Obi-Wan. It's just A, B, C, and then like say if you want to go dark, because I didn't think about that until now. But yeah, why didn't they have a kid? Not everyone has to have a child, but adopting is not the same as having your own.
Yeah.
And retconning intention, Stuart.
Yes. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2. Do we have a release date yet? No, not that I'm aware of. Let's see here. No, nothing like that announced yet. So,
I mean, they haven't filmed it yet, so that means it will not be this year. But Ewan had a lovely little funny thing, because there was a confirmed story about them filming in the UK. Like, actually not that far. Like, in England is relatively not far, so not far from my house. We could drive there without too much hassle. Because they were building like a town, and it was you saw plywood. If you're in the town, it's a town, and as soon as you're not, it's not. And they were saying it's Star Wars looking architecture, and like confirmed. But then Ewan was saying, like, with this announcement, like, I've heard rumors I'm filming in England 2 weeks ago or whatever, like here and like I'm not there, so they're all wrong. We're filming in LA, like later, so I can't have been in all these filmings. Because he said we're using the same stuff as Mandalorian. He's personally suggested doing that. He's gone for that. So they're doing the same tech wall thing, which makes sense. And in a pandemic world, closed set, I mean you can make that 100% secure. It's not hard. So in comparison to an outdoor set where you're flying everywhere, and I'm sure he lives in LA anyway. So but that's good though. I mean, Mandalorian did it well, and it means they can make it quickly, relatively cheaply, and cleverly and quickly. Actually, a year at a time, and 6 episodes are a lot less than Mandalorian, so actually should be a lot less time. And I'm sure they're thinking, we need content bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if they told them, like, this time next year. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, we need it as soon as possible.
Well, I remember that the turnaround. The Mandalorian season 1 ended, and then literally almost right away. Oh, by the way, season 2 starting at this point.
It's great.
What?
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully there's a quick turnaround time for it.
And if they want to be quick, they could probably do it in like 8 months. Because that's the thing. The pandemic's also, if they've known what they wanted to do, they also been building the assets previously, which is what you need to do if you're doing the LED wall, because everything has to be done before. Has to.
List to Jericho says Moses plays an Inquisitor who finds out about Luke.
Moses.
She's the
oh, okay. That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
she's got kind of a pointy look, which I certainly do link, which I do link with Inquisitors.
I can see that. I definitely could.
And it's top billing, if that's top billing. Hero, villain, Lars.
Hero, villain, Lars.
And then Commander Jarby, whatever his name is. And he gets a separate. Now, what do you think of the Inquisitors? Because I've never quite connected. They've always felt a bit cartoony because I've lived in the cartoons.
I don't know much about them. Because
they're in Rebels.
I just know that Inquisitors. I just know Inquisitors is a bad title, just from history. So I honestly don't know much about them, but from what I've seen of them, I could definitely see her as an Inquisitor. She just has that look,
And the thing is, they're picking these pictures. They're picking specific pictures for a reason. The PR person, etc.
This is just their publicity stills of their IMDb pictures.
Yeah, but it's
which they're not.
Yeah, they're picking. They're choosing, which one they use. Not that I'm saying that's whatever. But anyway, the Inquisitors are basically the several ranks down from Darth Vader. They're Darth Vader's personal squad of anti-Jedi assassins. Kind of like Starkiller was, but as a team who aren't as powerful. And they each have lightsabers. They each are force sensitive, with varying species and power sets. They tend to wear full armor with helmets, and yes, and several of their lightsabers spin.
Okay, they spin now. Sweet.
And Stuart, they fly. They spin, and that makes them fly. Zip, 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 like a helicopter, and I'm not joking. They can fly with lightsabers. Look forward to that in Rebels Season 1.
Thursday is April Fool's Day. But you're kind of early on that one.
Is it really?
Yeah. So we should do something. We should do an
God.
April Fool's. We need to do an April Fool's Live on Thursday.
Oh my
dude.
God. Oh yeah, shit. Oh, we could do anything for that, couldn't we? Trekyards bought by CBS. Confirmed. No, Trekyards by CBS. Confirmed. And we tell our plans.
And we lay out our roadmap of all the shows and movies.
That could be fun. Trekyards buys Star Trek. Confirmed. And then do a live about it. Kind of fun.
Do a whole fake Indiegogo Kickstarter campaign.
No,
we want to buy CBS.
We've already bought it, Stuart. We've already bought it. Done deal. That's why it's good. That's why we're saving the news for live.
Anywho, yeah. See, okay, the Inquisitor thing's interesting, and the flying lightsaber thing though is a little much.
Most people think it's a bit much. It's less stupid when you get used to it, but that's not really a selling point.
Did they use the Force? I would assume so, because they will lightsaber. And if that's the case, that's how they fly. Maybe, sure.
Not as they vary drastically in ability set. They aren't so much. They're more the assassin branch rather than the force using branch.
Well,
otherwise they're just Jedi at that point. They're just Sith Jedi, and there's meant to be two, the Master and the Apprentice, so they can't actually be Sith because that's the point. There's only two, so they've still got to be low. So I think they're just assassins.
Melissa Jericho says the Cap has played the new game. He knows about them. So they're in Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I played like one level.
It's been a while since I played that. But,
at the start, the Night Sister, or the lady at the start with the black armor that kills your friend at the start.
Yes.
Which is why it's weird to see them, because they're crossing media. But always a slightly weird concept to me. Because they just feel cartoony. And I've never quite liked when, there's two Sith, except from our 30 followers that are all full Sith. It's like, oh. Okay. There are no Jedi alive after Order 66. Except all of these. And we keep finding new ones when writers demand a new Jedi from nowhere. They are Force sensitive but not Sith. That's an oxymoron. If they're following Vader, they're Sith. Because Sith is a way of being, and they're clearly evil pricks. And have you seen their lightsabers? They're red.
Well, I'm gonna look some up right now while I've got the thing in front of me here, because damn it.
Yes, sir. But I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It's one of those things where they're using the canon. I'm just not as fond of that part of the canon. But that's nothing against using. They should always use the canon. Always better to use the canon than not. So, what do you guys think? Do you like the Inquisitors? You tell us.
Yeah, you guys, let us know. Oh, okay, yes, I remember. Okay.
And Eric says part of the Inquisitor's job is to find Force-sensitive children, perhaps. They stumble across a young Luke. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Huh?
Yeah, I can see why. I can see how they spin now, too, which makes a lot of sense, actually. Okay.
Okay, it doesn't... How are they lifting? Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they lift, but I can see how it spins. Because I was wondering how
Yeah.
the hell does the lightsaber spin and not break the guy's wrist, but...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Everyone knows it's a stupid thing. It's just okay. Okay.
Gimmicky.
Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. April Fool's episode. Trekyards is actually 2 crocheted puppets voiced by 2 AIs who have been programmed to like sci-fi. Well, see, I sent those to Samuel like a month and a half ago, and they said 2 to 3 months to get there, and I'm like, they always overestimate that kind of thing. 3 months. Yeah. So that's why I asked you today earlier if you had got that parcel yet, because if you were just holding off on opening it or something, I was like, we gotta, because that'd be great for April Fool's Day. But
I would have been 2 months. How
that was the original plan that we kind of chatted about, briefly. But
wow,
that's because I took the cheapest shipping.
Well, it must be a big box then.
It's pretty big. There's some other stuff in there, so.
Okay, well that's why. But it'd be kind of fun. I could kind of do a fun Star Trek. We bought Star Trek. April Fools.
Disney buys Star Trek.
Oh, confirmed.
That'd be the thumbnail. We'll have like 600 people in there. It's like, hey, so this is the thing. And that'll just turn into a hangout.
Yes. And we'll drink booze. April Fool's booze. You pay us to drink water. Plug. I'm drunk. April Fools. At the end, like, you look at every task getting more hammered. There's April Fools at the end. I mean,
Mr. Captain 93, I'd love a Star Killer series. Hell yes.
I know. It was such
so well done
character. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Michael Mooney, the boat must have got stuck in the canal. Yes, that's where your parcel is right now. Or it's on one of the boats behind that boat, waiting to get through.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only logical option.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But let us know right now, though. Would you tune in to April Fools, where we are literally April's fooling the entire live? Would you come to that?
I don't know how we would structure that, but we'd have to see. It would just definitely turn into a hangout, just chatting about ridiculous ideas. But oh well. So yes, let us know. 81 likes, 72 people here. Awesome. Hit that like button if you haven't. Let's try to get to, I want to say 100, but I'm going to be gentle and say, let's get to 90. It's 8 more likes. Remember, turn that like button into a Force ghost. Turn it blue. Oy.
Yeah. And, $35 more. Go for our lowest. Medium would be good.
Well, there really wasn't too much to talk about with this one, honestly. So.
Well, the thing is, there may have been. We didn't know who the actors were. Yeah. There may have been some great reveals.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it interesting enough? So say that lady is an Inquisitor. Is that interesting enough if it's just an Inquisitor finds Luke, Obi-Wan fights Inquisitor, kills Inquisitor? Because he can't take Luke on a 6-episode adventure around Tatooine. It's like, Luke would remember that, and I know he does trust Kenobi, but
unless at the end of the whole adventure, there's a big memory erasing grenade, and Ben gets a little bit of the blast. That's why he's like, I don't remember ever owning a droid. I don't recognize R2D2. Maybe.
My name is Ben? It must be, yes. Kenobi, Ben, yes. He confused himself with it. I mean, that's, you know, that's definitely, I mean, by that logic, I think I know I saw there was one scene where Anakin in the Clone Wars, and I guess you may have seen this already, like, sees his future. So we get to see the Clone Wars show us future films, and then the Sith guy, who I haven't seen the episode, but I've seen the clip, like, makes him forget, is just see his reaction of seeing the future. Because, you know, Mega Force Man can make you forget. So maybe, yeah, I mean, if the show ends up having, like, the first scene is like him killing someone over Luke's 10-year-old body, it's like, run, Luke, run! And then at the end it's like, you forgot, Luke, you forgot. Don't know why I lived long and
I was gonna say, what the hell?
I am sarcastic, forcing you right now.
Adrian says April Fool's Days pranks are supposed to finish at midday, though. Where did that ever come from? I heard that like as a kid. I don't know what the source of that is. Why are there rules to that? It's a whole day. It's 24 hours. April Fool's Day. It's not April Fool's morning.
What? And also 12 where? 12 in LA is gonna be 7 here. 12 in more that side of that country. You know, 12 in Australia. Like, it might already be, you know what I mean? Like, that's an irrelevant point. You can be, because if we're mostly for the LA audience, then, you know, we could do it, yeah. So, but besides, I wouldn't even, like, who cares? I see posts until the minute it ends.
Yeah.
No one follows that as far as I'm concerned.
This Jericho says, if you are in full character, sure. Ozzy says yes. Hezraz would be up for it. Squadra Course puts in $2 and says, hang out and be silly, count me in. So yeah, we'll decide something fun to do, because that gives me more time to do the original idea we had planned for Thursday's live, which is good. But yeah, we'll figure something out for Thursday for a live.
Well, it's nice it happens to fit on that day. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that, so you know, take advantage of what we've got.
Yeah.
So that would have been fun. Certainly would have been good to do the crochet thing and just have like on a green screen and just with voiceovering only. That would have been better. Yeah. That would have been fun.
Olivia Julius, $2. May the puggy be with you.
And also with you.
Also with you.
Yeah.
Maybe there's the off chance that the parcel will be there tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Then we can surprise everybody,
including ourselves.
Yes.
But no, you know, like I said, do you think this will be a broader reaching show? Or is the fact that Luke is there a complete red herring? It's literally Obi-Wan centric. You know, someone going after Luke. Maybe it starts with a Vader saying, "I finally found you, old master," and the whole thing is just about the day Vader finds him for the first time. You know, like, is that a more interesting story, or is it have to be Luke centric, or does it have to be Obi-Wan going after Vader? Is that more interesting? You know.
Just, I think, the avoiding of the Empire, because he's on Tatooine to protect Luke without officially protecting Luke. He still needs to keep his distance, so it's not obvious what's going on. So, plus, you would think that Vader would be able to sense him. So that's why he picked Tatooine, because it's out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, on the Outer Rim. It's not in the main traffic lanes. So I don't know. It would just be about probably of making sure that people don't figure out that Tatooine is where they should be looking. Maybe he does go off-world a few times to... See, I don't want there to be every second episode another Jedi, because we've already seen that with the Force Unleashed, where there's like other Jedi still alive.
Well, every game.
And that's all.
Every game, every
that's
comic.
always a trope, you know. So.
Well, unless it's the guys from Rebels. I mean, obviously you can use the existing ones, like I said, bring in Rosaria, because I mean, if she's under full, she's in Twilight, but the other version, you know, makeup. Like, who cares if she's playing the young version? They'll just change the whatever. Whatever they're called.
The size of her horniness.
But I think it could be a good point though that actually they might just move away from Tatooine instantly. Yeah, maybe the first scene is just, him leaving, and we're like, oh, yeah, and what does it tell us about how big the situation is? If he has to leave the person he's gave up his entire life for, giving up any sort of revenge on the Emperor or trying to restart an order, everything he ever had, either he lost or he's leaving behind to keep Luke safe. If he's leaving Tatooine, that tells you everything about how the reason is, what the reason is.
That's the tagline or the byline.
Oh, well, it's a bit of a
Obi-Wan Kenobi leaving Tatooine.
Yeah, the off Tatooine story. Question though, how interested would you be to see his parents? Because he's lost his Jedi Order, and that's not being recreated until post Return of the Jedi. So what if he actually ends up reconnecting with his family because, well, not having connections is the Jedi way. He's not really a Jedi anymore, is he? Would that be an interesting story?
I mean,
he's the son of somebody.
It could possibly be an interesting story. One that I definitely never would have thought of until you just mentioned it now. So,
I mean, we certainly deepened the character of a ton. You were given up when you were young. I mean, he's not fundamentally an old man yet. He's oldish, but he's middle age. His parents would still be alive unless they're super poor. With zero context. I think it'd be kind of, or maybe he has a brother. I mean, we didn't talk to him enough ever to mention, because he wouldn't know, would he? He was taken from his parents to the Jedi Temple. He wouldn't know. What if his brother was born after he left, a younger brother? How cool would that be to have another Kenobi or a Kenobi sister appear and be the catalyst for a story? I need your help. Our parents are in trouble, and he's like, okay, shit, what? Like, that would be a radical shift. But then it wouldn't need to be about the Force. And then you have the great idea of, and also you guys tell us what you think in the chat. His first family got massacred. Is he gonna let his real family, his other family, his blood family, go down too? That could be really interesting. I think. You tell me, guys. What do you think?
Could. A lot of things could be interesting, but they have to be done properly, and But yeah, I think definitely could work for me.
I'm just trying to think how you develop the character without actually messing up the canon, because it doesn't matter. He dies in 10 more years. Who cares? His future is set, but his present and his past can be kind of like tweaked a little bit. And that's a reason. That's enough of a reason for me to leave the planet.
Well, see, the one thing that would be interesting, somebody mentioned talking about Qui-Gon Jinn, is have training sessions of him learning from the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn how to do the Force Ghost thing, because I don't know how else he would learn it, because he didn't really have enough chance.
Well, he's meant to learn it from Yoda, who learned it from Qui-Gon. I think that's the way that is. Or I think he also learned it from. I think they all commune together. That's kind of part of that. Like, he talked to Qui-Gon loads after in the canon. Yeah, it's weird. But I could definitely see that being part of it. Although that might be a season 2 thing. Just like having Luke or whatever back, and we'll be more conservative in the first 6, and then we'll bring, because that's a good, having Hayden's a huge enough pull. So season 2, bring back Yoda and Qui-Gon and kind of tell that double down story. Although yes, people pointing out he did actually have a love interest in Clone Wars at the end. There's a Mandalorian lady, so he actually did almost break his oath, etc.
Interesting. Sean Corp PA $5. Kenobi is my favorite prequel character.
Yeah.
Good.
I think most people love, and especially you and as Kenobi.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery $5. Hey, Trekyards, will you be doing a First Contact Day live? When's First Contact Day? April 4th?
I mean, what would we talk about?
Talk about warp drive. First uses of warp drive in Star Trek. All the cultures.
Yes, what day is that?
I think it's April 4th, I want to say. I don't know. I'll look it up here. Hold on.
Well, I was going to suggest this weekend anyway, doing the gentle drink live in TNG prep.
April 5th, which is
Monday.
Yeah.
Are you around this weekend to do the TNG gentle? What we do in the season? But I don't want to do it I don't want to do an early one. We'll do a normalish time or closer to that. I don't want to lose my entire afternoon. If I put it a little bit later, would be helpful.
Like depends what day it is.
Whichever, either one. I've got other stuff I've got to do the weekend, but
gentle. It's Easter weekend too, so
yeah.
I don't know if anything's happening.
Because they take about 2.5 hours. They don't take drastically longer, just a little bit longer, depending. But it's a gentle drink one, isn't it? So it's more focused.
Well, if we start an hour early, like 4 my time,
back to 9,
that might be okay. Yeah,
that could be good.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, we both enjoy those a lot. Those lives. So would you join in for one of those? I think you would.
You better.
Yeah,
break your legs. We'll see about First Contact Day. I don't know what we're going to be doing.
Tiburon says apparently stuff's meant to come out on First Contact Day, like to tease. So method doing anyway. That's true. Yeah, I mean, first Strange New World teaser. That's very possible, especially if that is a First Contact sort of show. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
We may have one anyway, Stuart.
Okay. Sean Carpe, another $5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenobi will be silently taking out all comers to defend Luke.
That could be fun too.
Well, yeah.
The story of how many times he saved Luke without Luke ever knowing. Yeah.
Kyle Wong, £5. You think you think we see characters from Rogue One?
That aren't dead.
I mean, most of them died. Yeah. So.
I mean, yes. There isn't. I obviously would like to see more of the.
I guess they weren't dead yet because they died right before the first movie.
Oh, it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, they could definitely do that. My brain was not thinking right, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, they weren't dead.
But it's hard to bring Cassian Andor back as a younger version of himself when he's already dead and 5 years later. I don't really care about Cassian Andor anyway. Oh, he's getting a show. Oh, great.
Yeah, I can see a tie-in there. I definitely could.
Yes, when you murder your own informant in your first scene, you kind of lose me as an audience member. Like it's like, yeah,
you're not an enemy informant. Somebody on your own side.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he could have got us just. Well, I thought it was a good idea. I get it tells you everything you know about him, but it's like you don't like him ever. Like he's dead to you.
It's to set up the possibility of him betraying them at any point during the movie, which they tried to do and didn't really pay off.
No, I don't remember that being a subplot. I remember murdering some guy. But that's true. I mean, hey, what? But that's the thing. Unlike Star Trek, which is screwing things up in those regards, except Lower Decks, if they bring back X, Y, or Z character, they'll bring back the original actors because they care. And so, anytime they do, you could be more certain that it'll be worth doing, or worth seeing. Even if it's a simple small reference or a simple small scene, it's like they will bring back the original people unless they really can't, but they'll try to. Good, excellent. Yeah. Mon Mothma technically,
Yeah. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. Did Obi-Wan ever come into conflict with the Sand People? That would explain how he learned how to frighten them off in A New Hope.
Sure.
I mean, that just seems like common knowledge on Tatooine about the Krayt dragons, but...
Well, he would have met them in the 10 years, 18 years. I mean, they're the indigenous people of the planet, guys.
And I'm pretty sure he probably had like a good relationship with them and speak to them like the Mandalorian did,
No, I'm pretty sure, and again, this might be like you said, a comic. I'm pretty, 90% sure they say he traded with them explicitly in several sources, which you'd have to do. I mean, of course, Jawas and Sandbill, that's the people that you trade with that aren't greedy humans. And you can imagine the Force sensitivity gives you a big advantage because you can sense their feelings.
Mm-hmm. And they're not working for the Empire because there's just no Sand People in the Imperial Army or the Imperial military.
Yeah. Although Paul says can't go into this expecting canon cartoon continuity. Hey, Mandalorian, fully cartoon continuity. Why would you not expect that? Seriously, this is Star Wars. They really keep consistent. Why would you not? I mean, yes, they might make an event bigger rather than the cartoon version. You know what I mean? But no, I would be very surprised. And there's probably a bigger fan base for the Clone Wars as fans than for the sequel trilogy, like dedicated, like hardcorers. I don't think that's really into dispute. And so if you fuck up that side, you're gonna lose a lot of ticket sales. Obviously, it's a streaming service, but you know what I mean. Like that audience is not one you want to piss off. Whereas, doesn't matter if you piss off the sequel fans. Really, come on. Like dedicated fans. Really.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. And as we know, Filoni was one of the creators of the Clone Wars, so hence why Mandalorian is deeply rooted. Like, he created the cartoon, both of them. So of course he's going to pull from his own lore, given that's been all of the continuity for the last 12 years. I assume they're involved in this show. I would like to think they are. I don't know if I've heard directly. You'd think they'd be, but yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities with it being set when it is. There's so many possibilities that could tie into it. So, but only 6 episodes. That gives me pause. I was hoping there'd be more.
As a miniseries at that point. Now, well, that's the thing though, and I think we both thought this recently. Would you rather have 6 movie quality episodes or 10 TV quality episodes?
That first thing you said.
Oh, you'd rather have 6 movies. Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah, as long as they're a little bit longer and more money put into them, so they feel like more cinematic.
Well, see, I'd rather have 10 40-minute, lower budget, but split over to more content. Especially with that wall. I mean, come on, how many? I'll have lots of scenes with him talking to Mothma on the Tantive 5 if they're good scenes. It's like Winter Soldier. It's like it feels like a Marvel movie, but I only get 6 of them. It's like, okay, great. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Dave L. Yeah, it's sad news, but yeah, there's only 6 episodes that they have listed anyway. Maybe
now,
it's one of those things too that it might change because like Picard, they added 3 episodes or something.
That was Discovery. Picard, they didn't. They shifted. They removed 2 because they had to replace 2, and that's fucked up the main storyline. Discovery, they added 3 because they changed showrunner, couldn't tell the story enough time, and still couldn't tell it enough time. Because they remember the Move the Moon Universe episode 4 episodes later, couldn't finish the story in time, so they'd add 3 more.
Maybe hope that we might get a few more episodes if they decide it's going well or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah.
But Eugene, 250 rubles. Never underestimate the capability of modern managers to F things up. Yes.
Yeah. But also, they may be 55 minutes. There may be a proper length. So at that point, yeah. That's absolutely that's good with me. As long as they are, if they're 30, I'll be heavily disappointed. But if they're 50, I'll be fine. Yeah.
I can't see them doing 6 episodes with 30-minute length.
If they're thinking budget per minute, and they're like, want to get as much money, much value in those minutes, because but I'd rather have 30 high-paying minutes and then 20 filler, which is the character scenes. Give me I don't need 50 minutes of action, obviously, but I want 50 minutes. But that's just me.
Yeah. And Ozzy, we'll be watching that at some point. Godzilla vs. Kong. For sure. Well, guys, I think that's pretty much done with the discussion today. Thank you for joining us.
Well, we can briefly talk about Bad
hit that
Batch
like button.
for a
Let's
second.
get 9 more likes.
Don't know if you want to briefly about your thoughts of the Bad Batch trailer while we try and get,
sure.
15 more dollars, guys. 15, 20, and 9 more likes. We'll wait for the 100 likes. But Bad Batch trailer, what did you think, Stuart?
I was pretty stoked. It looks. I love how I love the little exposition of the girl. Do you know who we are? And she names them all. It's like, okay, that's clever for a trailer. I get all their names in there. But
I've done that before.
Yeah, it looks really interesting, and it made me want to go back and start watching Clone Wars again for sure. Not that I don't think you necessarily need to have watched all the other stuff before to really enjoy it, but we got until May 4th, so I'll try to watch some of the other stuff. But I was excited to see it.
I mean, to be fair, we could always do like do live, like review season 1 of Clone Wars. make a live out of it, watch the first season, go back and talk about it, have a chat. And it's well loved, and if I've got to watch them as well, then one live out a season is pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm. We won't get all those in before May 4th, though. Watching all the seasons and doing lives on them.
They're only half an hour. You watch three in a batch. You get done.
A bad batch.
Goodness.
Yeah, I guess it's possible.
Yeah. Although, I just noticed the Obi-Wan trailer, the Obi-Wan Kenobi logo is made out of sand. It's blowing in the wind. It's a nice touch. Didn't notice that before.
It's very clever. It's almost like sand will be important.
Well, it does get everywhere, Stuart.
And it's coarse and rough. Hopefully the show won't be coarse and rough. And it won't get everywhere. It'll only be on Disney+. So.
And Trekyards when we review it. But Bad Batch, yeah, this trailer's okay. I mean, it looks like Clone Wars again. I liked hearing that they are augmented clone troopers, but as with all these things, it's like, oh, if that's the thing they could do, why aren't they making hundreds of them? It's another retcon to a retcon, which is like, yeah, okay, fine. But I like the look of them. I like the fact, well, spoilers for a trailer, but I like the fact they go rogue is interesting. That's a nice twist. That adds a lot of extra value because you do anything with that. But like, there's a problem if the 4 guys are the main characters. They're all voiced by the same guy because they are. Even if they're different characterizations, that is going to get dull quite quickly in my head. I don't know what the story's going to be, and obviously that girl or the clone lady person, whatever, is going to be the other character. But the clones are always secondaries, and good secondaries, very good secondaries, but secondaries. So to have a dedicated to those as the 4, it's going to be odd. And it just looked very samey, which is kind of good. At least it looks like Star Wars, but we've seen all that stuff before a lot of times. Like, a lot of times. There was a show called The Clone Wars with clones fighting. Just looked like more Clone Wars. So I think there's going to be more of a... That twist is a good twist, but there's going to be more to it than what we've been led on. Otherwise, it's just the same show again, just a clone unit. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be a mix between Clone Wars and Rogue One. That kind of vibe, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Like, out doing their thing. Mercenaries for hire.
Maybe. But it's nice to see all the old Clone Wars aesthetic still kicking butt, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Snipe. Pachoo. Matt Boardman, $15.
Oh.
Thank you, Matt. Meeting the goal. Here we go, meeting a goal.
We met the goal!
Here we go, meeting the goal. Yay. Fleetpaw Swiftback, $20. Thank you so much, Fleetpaw.
Lies past the goal.
Can't wait to see how you mess with our heads on Thursday. Oh, and here's money. Hopefully Sam gets his puppet before Thursday and you can go ahead with your original idea. And sand does get everywhere, kind of like glitter. Hey, you know how they have the company that sends glitter bombs to people? We should start our own company that sends sand bombs to people.
The tagline is coarse and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone just laughs.
More irritating than glitter because it's coarse and rough.
But it's multicolored sand. At least we try there. It's yellow, orange, and red. Like Tatooine. And it says, produced on Tatooine exclusively. Although Dan says you should watch the last season of Clone Wars since the Bad Batch are in that.
Nice.
Which obviously was the newly released one, which makes sense if they were going to make a new show. They knew they were going to make another new show. Why not introduce the characters for your new show in the old new show you're bringing back? So that makes sense. But I mean, it's kind of good though. The trailer reintroduces them as if it's the first time, because that's good. Although I can imagine then that it'll start in the Clone Wars and then flash forward because, like, everyone else will have introduced them in the show. So why would you do that unless you kind of have some episodes in the past and then the present? Because I definitely like the concept of clone troopers fighting stormtroopers. Having 4 clones in full clone doing... Like, that's an obvious visual, and I love those levels in Battlefront 2. They were always, like, really fun, even though it was just the same white armor model fighting the same white arm model. But it was fun. But yeah, we reached our goal. We need 3 more likes. So that is lovely.
3 more likes, guys.
Yes.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $2.
Ooh.
Don't sandbomb the admins. We'll get revenge. Oh, we
Aw.
wouldn't do that. We like you guys,
We do.
usually.
They come out at night mostly. Yes.
Mostly.
But yeah.
Okay, Newt.
Newt Gunray, Star Wars. But I do
Oh,
hope.
I'm Newt. Dumbass.
Oh. But I do hope we do the. We can get the puppets because that'd be fun. I mean, I don't know exactly how we'd do it, but pretty cool.
I can do my end, I guess, but just have them in front of the chair. But that's not fun.
Yes. And it's actually more effort for us because we've got to physically like move it the entire time. As we're doing this. Yes. But oh my god, we should work out a split screen where we have 2 cameras, then it's us and us.
We could talk to each other.
Yes. So we have 4 boxes. Alex is just me. Oh goodness. Yeah, because you're phoning in with your phone Skype and your other Skype, and I'm using 2 cameras.
See,
and I have 4 us's.
it'd be even better. Even better if you could get yours before then. But you could be Captain Foley and voice Captain Foley, and I'd do Samuel on this end. I wouldn't do Samuel. I'd voice Samuel.
You just put your hands on me and touch me a lot over the course of 2 hours.
Just to crochet you.
But yeah. But it could be a gimmick that you surprise me with a visit, and I surprise you with a visit at the same weekend, and we are on the opposite sides of the world. It's just that's why we're in each other's sets. Yeah.
Well, guys,
Hey,
we hit our 100 likes. We have 102, which is awesome. So that's great. We hit our, for a casting announcement video, we did pretty good on this one. So even without any character names, I mean, we could have had more to talk about. But
well, I can confirm Hayden and Christensen will play Darth Vader.
No, you're wrong. He's playing Anakin Skywalker.
As Darth Vader.
But you don't even know that. You're just making stuff up.
No,
Darth Vader. What kind of name is Darth? Come on now.
Well, no, it's like James Bond. What's her name is Bond? Or James. Who's called James? Joe? Come on. Everyone's called Ewan or Indira.
Anybody named James goes by Jim. So.
And who's called Hayden?
Hayden. Yo, hey man. Yo, haymaker.
People have weird names in general. We both have very boring names in the grand scheme. Stuart and Samuel are very. At least we're not James and Jack, because that'd be even worse. I mean, Jack's less used now, but James is still pretty used. At least our neck of the woods. Or Simon.
Mm-hmm.
I think Samuel's more nice than Simon. Don't like the hard I. Simon. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see on Thursday, which will be
for something. For something. We'll have a live on Thursday. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be fun. Sure.
So until then, guys, he's Darth Foley.
And he's Samuel Plagueis.
The wise.
I wasn't going to add that part.
I did. It's new. It's like your lordship on you. I just bought the wise for some Scottish land. No, on the Coruscant, some Coruscant land.